Bill Bronstein, we're starting DRC for June 16th. First item is 7645 Lindbergh Drive, the Forest Conservation Plan, preliminary plan and site plan in East County, right? And for information, this meeting is being recorded. Everybody, Troy?
Troy Leftwich with East County presenting the DRC item 7645 Lindbergh Drive. The property's coming in for preliminary plan. They do have a associated site plan with it, but that's just because they previously had it in a site plan amendment that justified that they could not have to do a site plan. So it's just a continuation of the same entitlements. So we're not expecting a site plan. The main focus is the preliminary plan. They have an existing 2 lots that they are essentially reconfiguring, realigning the internal drive within our comments. You saw that. We're looking for that to actually be parceled out. I think y'all were showing it as an easement. We don't have issue with the use because it's a proposed or an allowed use in IL zone. The project proposing 21,000 square feet of a self-storage on lot 11 and 41,000 square foot of warehouse on lot 12. I think our main concerns was or figuring out the dedication on Woodfield Drive and Lindbergh. The configuration of the sidewalk on Woodfield Road, I think there was concerns that there might have to be additional dedication. So, of course, with the preliminary plan, I think the way you're configuring things like becomes a push and pull in regards of layout, you're already looking for a parking waiver. We need more justification on the parking waiver in the SOJ, along with the findings that I put in there as well. I think I had a comment about the open space. I saw the open space plan in a supplemental after I had the DRC comments on, but we can work on the open space amending plan, actual final layout once we kind of get this push and pull in regards of dealing with the dedication, the urban design comments, and then potentially push and pulls in regards of maybe the parking configuration as well. So overall, I think that's kind of the overall concerns. I know there's additional transportation comments and urban design comments that will probably dictate the priorities on your end. So at this time, we can turn it over to you, and then y'all can let us know how you want to proceed in regards to the comments that you received from DRC.
Okay, I'll just real quickly say for background, it wasn't included in this, but this had a preliminary plan. It was anticipated to be a retail center as part of a very large, the loop road of Lindbergh, subdivided quite a while ago. I've looked at this site for many people for many years. It's got a lot of challenges, but especially the grade, working with the existing bank, who's the neighbor, who has 2 access easements right now, and they've agreed to the reconfigured access easement. That, and then all of the easements that State Highway owns, that storm drain easements and other things, took a good bit to get here. We finally have an applicant who's willing to see this through after many false starts I've had with others. Owns the property now. So looking forward to doing as much as we can on the few industrially zoned properties that we have for some employment, some tax base. I'll let Sasheen go through some of the things we want to touch on, but I'm sure we're going to need follow-up individual meetings. We're not going to be able to get through everything in 25 minutes.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. You want to talk about some of the environmental comments. We just want some clarity on one of the comments from Marco Pfister. Clarify info is needed on the proposed work relative to the existing drainage and stormwater facility easements. The project appears to locate the building and other features within the footprint or embankments of the existing stormwater facility, which would permanently displace storage capacity and likely require temporary pumping and removal. We just want a little more background on that there. We have an improved stormwater concept plan. We're not grading within this area. We're outside of the easement.
Zoom in on that corner, Troy.
Yeah. This corner right here.
Yeah, the corner where the building is truncated by just.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right there. Do you see where the building is sort of cutting into the embankment almost at?
We're outside the easement drainage area.
Yeah, and we're above the water line. We're outside of the easement. We see where the embankment is.
Hi, Marco Booster, issued those comments, but, so further background, yeah, it appears you're just outside of the easement footprint. However, as mentioned in the comments, if say you were to look at, once that pond were to fill with water, the water is going to be within those embankments, even if it's outside of the easement footprint. The water would go in those embankments, and you would be displacing some of the storage capacity. I need to start that, DPS is the lead agency on the stormwater management issues. However, the master plan does have a lot of recommendations for concern for maintaining the high water quality of the watershed, which is an SPA, even if you aren't technically subject to those requirements. So out of concern with conformance for the environmental recommendations of the master plan, that's where the comment is coming from. To more clarity would be needed as to the amount of stormwater capacity you'd be displacing by putting the building in the pond itself.
I just want
In
to
the
make sure it's
past
clear.
pond.
It's not in the pond. I mean, the
I'm
pond,
sorry,
the water elevation is set by the invert, not the embankment. You can have an
Okay, I'm
embankment.
sorry. Yes, if you were to walk on if the building were to be built as proposed, you could maybe shimmy around the cutoff corner, and you would be, just above the water surface elevation. But during heavy rain events and the pond is capturing water as it's intended, the water level is going to rise up into the face of the building.
That's the question I have. I
So,
don't.
sorry, Jason with Vika, is the solution here, since this is a state pond to, I think they only had one comment in DRC, is to coordinate with the state highway on the placement in proximity to their pond. Will that be a resolution to get an email from them?
Yes. Yes, that would be appropriate.
Okay, we've had to do that before.
The second part of the comment is how posting the building so close to the water surface elevation of the wet pond, likely to do the foundation, you would have to drain the pond. And I believe it has wildlife living in there, such as amphibians. And again, the master plan does have concern for such species living in such areas. So that would be something else to consider.
Okay.
Another question here, you is revise the SOJ description to follow a standard format. What do you define as standard format?
So typically in the statement justification, there's paragraphs that explain what the requirements are, how you're meeting them. I've never seen a statement justification done in this way, where it seems you basically, I don't know, cut and pasted the law and then superimposed a bunch of responses and underlined, and then there's some things that don't apply at all. And it's kind of tedious to read through and find the pertinent things. So in general, you would just explain what the main requirements are and how you're addressing them in a traditional paragraph, rather than that unusual format that occupies many pages.
So every F application I've done the same way. I've listed all the sections of code, and and here we underlined everything that was not code text. It was our response. And it was quite detailed because there was a lot to go through, and there was water quality sections, and there was about the master plan sections. I can try to simplify it, take out the sections that aren't applicable. but I've never done a different format.
Okay, I don't know, maybe defer, maybe we could, it's the first time I've seen that format and, could defer to, supervisor. I apparently used it before, okay, but it's the first time I've ever seen it. I just found it, difficult to follow.
Okay. Happy to reformat it and add to any sections that you don't think are have enough information.
Well, yeah, there's certainly a number of sections that were missed, like, for example, you're in the priority urban forest and there's no reference to that at all, so you would certainly have to expand to cover that section.
There was a question line, what priority urban forest is because,
That's mapping by the state. It's well, I don't say exactly new, but for probably over a year now, MC Atlas has a priority urban forest layer. And if you turn that on, nearly the whole site is in it. There's some sections where the water surface elevation is, and that's little Swiss cheese holes in the priority urban forest, but most of the site is in priority urban forest as mapped by the DNR.
so we did mention that and we showed that actual map. So I must have done a really bad job explaining, and I'll try again because it was addressed.
The priority urban forest,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, sorry if I missed that piece, but,
I'll try again.
to the,
Next grouping of questions is for Florence. Driver. The access, how does? Oh, it's not here.
But Richard's here.
yeah, Richard, sorry.
Okay, great.
I'm online. This is Florence.
Great.
Okay, so as one question, Woodfield Road is classified as a boulevard, 120-foot right-of-way. This complete streets design guidance calls for 8-foot buffer, 6-foot minimum, 11-foot sidewalk, 8-foot minimum. We're constrained on that, on the street with the utility poles. That's why we're using the minimum buffer and sidewalk width essentially. And we're going to have to adjust the sidewalk for Rebecca's comments.
Yeah,
to
so you
avoid-
need to show us what you can fit in, because it's not showing the clear picture. So your next submission should show everything, and then if you're gonna deviate, write a justification for that. But we need to see that, we're not asking you to move the poles.
I think and Florence can weigh in on this as well, but I think the issue was that you're kind of going around the poles, and if you just had a wider buffer, you have to do that.
Okay, so we avoid doing this. 'Cause there's
Yeah,
a
so if you
dedication
can widen out
issue.
the buffer
Okay.
so that your sidewalk is not meandering like
Okay.
that, that's better situation.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. We'll do that.
Okay.
There was just a quick clarification, truck enclosure, how does it work? You just want additional detail, how the door operates, how you move the bins out. Is that what I'm hearing?
Can I go back on something? Sorry.
There you go.
Could we, since we have 120-foot right of way already dedicated. So we dedicated per the master plan. If we put part of the road, if we put part of the sidewalk on our property, can we put that into a PIE that overlaps with our PUE?
So it's on a state roadway, so you have to talk to the state about that. My concern is that there's a guardrail there.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get a chance to look at how steep that is. But my concern is you're gonna come back to me and say that's not buildable. Like you can't, it's too costly to build that. And so I'm not very good at grades, like I could see it, but I didn't go out there. So I'm curious to know of how really buildable is that of moving it back? Because like I said, there's a guardrail there.
Right.
So how is it steep? You're gonna fill in, or what's gonna happen? Are we gonna need retaining walls? So I think I would prefer if you can provide additional information so that we can figure out exactly what's gonna happen when you go to construct it.
Yeah, we are definitely pushing the grade so we can get that flattened for the sidewalk.
I assume it drops down, right?
It does.
And then are you going to put the guardrail back? I don't know. That's another question for the state. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just going back to the trash enclosure, you just want to understand when the shut door swings and.
Yeah, I mean, just 'cause it's in the corner, it's not quite clear yet how the trash is. The
Okay.
operations to pick up the trash is working. with
Okay, yeah,
Where
we-
it's located.
Yeah, we'll do a blow up and show how that works. Okay.
One thing I just want to bring up, because I think we weren't able to put in our comment, we had some computer issues last week. So I think we do have some concern about just how straight that drive aisle is, and that there's parking kind of going right into it. So just wanted to bring that up as a concern, especially because that might be used as sort of a cut through.
It is a cut through. I use it. So it used to work better when so at the Shell, you know, there's the flashing red. And so a lot of time, depending on when you're coming, in order to make a left, was that Woodfield onto Air Park, people will use that. So it was not as straight. So I'm concerned that people are gonna use that as it means to get around the double left turn. And so it's straight. So how fast are they gonna go through it? And then you have cars backing out, you know, I mean, I don't know when the light, I think that during peak hour, the light is synced, but during non-peak hour is when you potentially get to cut through traffic. Meaning any weekends and non-peak hour.
When the parking help cars slow down, because there's cars coming in and out.
Sometimes people just go anyway, speed.
Yeah,
So-
well, I think the concern is like,
Thank
if people are backing out of parking
Yeah.
and there's high speed vehicles, that's
I
part of the concern.
imagine people going very quickly through there when now there's a storage use. Right now, there's nothing,
Which gets used. So,
and it's, 22 foot wide, I mean, is there anything treatment we can do there, traffic calming or something?
Raised crosswalk or something.
Yeah, like a race car.
Swap already, so maybe some.
But we have to align with the bank, and I think we're trying to align with the,
yeah, just make sure you can have stopping sight distance, I think for the pedestrian crosswalk.
Lindbergh.
No, right there, the one that you're putting in. Make sure, like, if you're coming from either direction, you can see that person and stop at time based on the speed of, I would say 25 or 20. Not less than 20.
Maybe one more.
Okay, couple more questions here. The ingress egress easement for the driveway will need to be abandoned and this will need to be put into its own parcel. You're talking about that existing easement?
No.
The existing needs to be abandoned and the new one, they're asking for it to be in its own parcel.
Yeah, there's we thinking of this as a private road, but drive aisle,
Not a private road, just a parcel drive out,
Yeah.
right?
but a separate parcel.
Yeah, separate parcel.
It's, I guess it doesn't impact setbacks, or I just want to make sure it doesn't have any ripple effect. Is it? I just don't know why an easement over a property isn't sufficient.
Just to keep it a little bit cleaner.
You want its own parcel, not an easement.
I just want to make sure, because someone will have to own that parcel then. We wanted it split.
Correct.
So we'll make sure that it works, that if some reason it's technically, there's an issue, we'll let you know, but we'll try.
So just to clarify then, our idea was to split that ownership between the
Yeah.
two parcels.
I think
We're gonna proceed with that, right?
Well, I think the parcel is separate from your ownership. I think you can, well, I guess it depends on how you write it up, but the way, if you parcel it out, how you set up your ownership is different. Like, it can be different, I guess is what I'm saying. But I know it's probably cleaner to have it, one, I guess the meets and bounds of it would look a little bit weird when the parcel's like not necessarily split between ownership, but I think your ownership, because we do it all the time with like lease agreement and stuff like that. The parcels don't necessarily align up with like the parking layout and stuff like that, but it may be a little bit different or maybe a little bit more challenging. We could talk about it a little bit more if it's problematic, but.
Okay, you want separate truck turning templates for SU30s, W50s on separate sheets or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
separate sheets.
There was a comment about the hot turn on Limburg. Can you clarify that? About removing, if I'm reading this correctly, remove the hot right at the corner. It's a left turn restriction, basically is what it is, right?
Well,
it's
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead,
You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
Oh, I think this came up at the pre-app meeting that we said, like, generally from a Vision Zero standpoint, like having these hot rights are not what we're looking for, especially since we're gonna be improving the
Hello.
pedestrian. So we were hoping that this could be more angled so that we don't have this sort of like protected soft right that encourages faster turning movements. Is that fair, Richard?
Yep. Yeah, I think we just want you to explore that. The ability to do that.
Okay, I might follow up with more, what exactly you're looking for, so we can.
Yeah, just
Okay.
I think a tighter turning radius. And then maybe it makes, I mean, we can figure out what makes sense to stay there to keep the geometry that we need. But right now, this is creating kind of like a very soft right that's protected from the opposite direction of traffic, which encourages people to take it pretty fast.
Address the water quality goals, the master plan, refer to their overall comments. Where are we supposed to address this water quality goals? Master plan, is that in the?
EFCP description. And add to that section.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I say that? Sorry.
Or sorry, but
Yeah.
potentially, it may be in the
Yes,
place
I do.
itself, depending, or both, but I guess you would explain how you're meeting it, and chances are there'd be something on the plan related to the explanation.
With that hot right, any chance that kind of, if we can reconfigure that intersection a little bit, that could be part of our LATR requirement?
Potentially. I mean, I think that because it's coming from a safety, I mean, I would definitely, yeah, that's something we are open to exploring.
I think we want you to put together a cost estimate and a design, and then we can consider if that could be used towards the proportionality guides. I think that's where we should start.
Okay, great. All right, a couple minutes, okay, and then we'll jump to the design comments really quickly here. Align the two buildings to have the same setbacks from Lindbergh Drive. That there's a significant grading in the area, and we have a loading dock we have to get to work, so we probably won't be able to do that. We're gonna do our best to try to get a closer line, but because of the grading, you can see there's pretty significant, we only have a significant stem wall around the structure. We are landscaping it to make it look more consistent on that frontage, but the alignment of those structures are going to be very difficult to do. And then the other one, the office use about bringing it to Lindbergh Drive is difficult. The office and the loading dock have to be adjacent to one another, basically, to get that to functionally work. So that's another thing we are going to dress up the corners there to make it look more architectural, like a lot of storage facilities do. There's things you can do with the exterior treatment. You can do glazing there, like a nice glaze, there's things we're going to explore. We'll provide examples of what that can look like. And anything else?
No, we're going to follow up one-on-one with Marie, make sure that we're solid on fire access. We'll probably put together some ideas and responses before resubmission. But Troy, if you can give us the schedule of when you think that is, and then maybe send us some times that'll work.
Do you want to just go ahead and get set up for the next Tuesday, the follow-up? Maybe that's a standard hold for everybody, then you can just let me know who needs to be
Okay.
in that meeting.
Is our resubmission due in
July 1st.
I have a schedule, usually. July 1.
July 1?
Great.
The final submittal on the 21st.
July 21st? Okay.
Thank you. Great.
Sorry, this is Florence again. I just want to make sure you all saw the comment that we didn't receive an updated LATR submission yet. And that timeline, especially with SHA, can be, up to 45 days for each review. So I just want to make sure you all are aware of that.
Yes, we're working.
And it, y'all did say something about the stormwater management was approved, but I think we had, was that, right? Is everything okay with that? Cause I thought pre-DRC, they said that there was
Yeah,
gonna
we
be.
followed up on Friday. That was after pre-DRC.
Okay.
All right, I think we can set up these meetings and we'll be in touch shortly. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon.
Everyone? number 3 for DRC today. 9911 Fernwood Road, a concept plan in West County. For information, the meeting is being recorded. Go ahead, Hugo.
Good morning, everybody. This is Hugo Jensen with the West County Division. I reviewed this application or this concept plan. The big comments is submitting the storm drain analysis, site distance and cross sections for DOT. Stormwater management conservation submitted, calculating the EBL and having the EBL plan ready for submission, and potential encroachment of the neighboring driveway with the subdivision application. This is for the applicant, so if you have any questions, we're all game.
Yes, hi, this is Patrick Danier. Calling from overseas, so sorry I'm not in the room. Am I allowed to ask questions at this time?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So I read, thank you very much for the review comments, very comprehensive. I'd like to start with point number 4 on the area subdivision of the concept plan review comments, because it states that the existing structure should not cross lot lines. And the thing is, my current design, it does not meet this requirement. And therefore, should I understand that under the current design, I would have to tear down the existing house first before the subdivision can be approved? Or will it be a condition, or how does that work?
It will be conditioned.
Okay, and so the timeline for this would be what?
So if you, for this kind of application, you do the administrative subdivision plan, which is a 9-day review if everything goes perfect. Upon that, you go on and try and get your permits, but there will be a condition of approval that will be enforced by DPS.
To plat.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure I fully understand all the the terminology that you guys are using, but will I have to tear down the house before the subdivision can be approved?
No.
No?
You,
Okay.
you would typically be required as part of your plat, your record plat, to demolish that house before the plat is recorded.
Before the plat is recorded. So I'll probably have like another 2 or 3 years to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Okay, that is clear. Thank you very much. Then my other question, in my follow-up questions, because I have a few, what is the timeline for submitting the FCP and the administrative subdivision plan? Since I have decisions to make before moving forward, given what we just discussed. And so, what is the timeline for submitting this?
You can submit it whenever you want. You're not bounded to get it in after a certain time of this concept plan. So whenever you're ready, you can reach out.
So it can be in 6 months, it can be whenever, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, very good. So that covers these questions. Then let's go to number 6, actually, the question number 6 or point number 6, area subdivision. Also, that it's also covered with number 13 in area environment. And let me tell you that this is about the FCP. So the largest tree that I plan to impact on is a 29 inches diameter tree. So will a variance be required to impact this tree? And will a true safe plan be required also?
So that, this is Hallie, I'm the environmental reviewer for your environmental stuff. Examine if you can meet an exemption. If you can get an exemption that will allow you to meet forest conservation law, you would need to do the FCP if you don't, and need to do a full forest conservation plan.
Right, okay, so based on this information based on just the information that I gave you, you cannot let me know if I would qualify for it or not, right? It has to be reviewed by an expert and other things, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And the other thing is on the FCP, on the potential FCP exemption, does it depend on whether I keep ownership of one of the lots, or does it depend on that?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
Right.
The property has
Okay,
to
so
meet the
regardless
requirements.
right, regardless if it's sold or kept as ownership. And yeah, let's assume if I qualify for the exemption, sorry, will I have to go through a formal conservation exemption process, or can I just submit the exemption form that is found on the Montgomery County website?
Well, you'd have to get the exemption, so you'd have to go through that process.
Okay. All right, very good.
But that is a formal
Um,
process that requires a plan being prepared with a limits of disturbance on it.
Right, I see, because you're right. I forgot to mention that both houses will have basements, and therefore there will be excavation work involved. I'm assuming that that is land disturbance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so because of that, most likely, I have to go. I mean, does it like when you have this kind of excavation work, can you still be eligible in one of the 6 categories for exemption or not?
Well, there are many categories of exemptions. I think it goes down to X. And yes, I mean, the excavation does not change whether you would be, whether you would qualify for an exemption or not.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. Now, if you can go to number 7, that's area subdivision. It says, I didn't quite understand actually. It says matching the survey 147.56 and 147.56 is actually one of the dimensions on the survey, one of the dimensions on the of the property. But what do I need to do with this?
Just make sure that what's on everything that you submit, that all the numbers match. I might have misread and said 58, but just making sure that it is.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me write this down. Okay. Right. Okay. Then let's go to number 8, which is still area subdivision, which actually goes to number 18 DPS zoning and number 21 area subdivision. So I guess I understand I need to provide a survey with the established building line, an established building line plan with all the setbacks, which makes sense. But will I need in that specific case a boundary survey or a topographic survey?
Hi, this is Melissa with zoning plan review. The EBL is a separate type of survey that's done by your engineer or land surveyor licensed in Maryland. It would be based on their recommendation, what method you use to find the front setback required for your new house or both of the new houses.
Okay, all right, very good. So I'll talk to right. So there's no definite answer. I need to talk to the surveyor about that. That's fine. Let's go to number 10 because page 1, the very first page of the review, which is kind of like the summary. It says that Country Transportation recommends for approval. But number 10, which is Country Transportation, also says that the issue is unresolved because I need a storm drain analysis and a site distance form. So I guess I want to make sure, is it recommended for approval or do I still need to do something?
This is a concept plan.
Yeah.
So we don't do anything with it. The recommended, it's just you need to provide those, you need to address those comments at your administrative plan.
So do I need to provide the
Yes, you need to do
Storm-
storm drain site distance analysis at the time of administrative plan approval.
Okay, so I will have to provide the storm drain analysis
Yes.
as well as the site distance form. Okay,
Yes.
makes sense. All right, very good, appreciate it. Next is number 14 on the sediment and stormwater. So it says that I need to present a stormwater management concept, and I wanted to know if the forest conservation plan expert, can this person also address this SWM concept? It's
No, this is
separate?
Mark Etheridge with Water Resources. The stormwater management concept is separate from the forest conservation review. So you'll need to submit a separate stormwater management concept application showing the proposed subdivision with the grading and what you're going to do out there and how you're going to provide stormwater management for the project.
Okay, and can the same expert do that, or do I need to, I mean, like, is it completely separate, you know, because, you know, I'm gonna have a forest conservation plan expert coming in, and so the same person can do that? I understand it's a separate application, but can the same person do that?
Yeah, I believe code requires that it be a professional engineer or a registered land surveyor provide the stormwater management concept application. Most people get a professional engineer to do the concepts for them.
Okay, very good. All right. Then right, number 19, which is I think a minor point, but number 19, which is Washington Gas, says, you know, so I will have to provide the question actually. Do I need to get this GIS map for the Washington, you know, the WGL facilities? Do I need to do that? The reason I'm asking is because I went on the website and the website didn't work very well. So I'm asking if this is something that has to be done.
Who are you referring the question to?
Number 19, Washington Gas. So I don't know who
I
that
don't
is.
see Jared Martin on the call, but yes. So they provide instruction with a comment there. So GIS is just a mapping software. If you go over and
Right.
all those facilities there and you just submit it to the contact Kyle Dunn, that's the requirement.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You know, I'm familiar with this. It's just wanted to mention that the website that is being provided on the review comments is not functioning well for me. So that's why I was asking, but that's okay. Number 22. So I don't. So number 22 is area subdivision. It's about the driveway, and I didn't quite understand this question regarding the driveway. Because I'm not planning to share the neighbor's driveway, but does the question here mandates that I move the driveway to the other side of the house? Because right now it's on the right-hand side of the house. It will be a new driveway, but I could potentially, you know, change the layout and then, you know, move the house to the right and then put the driveway to the left of the house. So is that what is discussed here?
So I'm sharing my screen for an aerial. If you can see right here, kind of that, I guess the existing driveway with the neighbor here. This property is based on the tax map, so it might not be perfect, but it seems that some of their driveway may be on your property, right?
So I would say that your driveways need to be, they need to account for flares on the driveway aprons. And so you need to have, the driveway can't be directly on the property line. It has to be 5 feet into the property.
Oh, okay. Let me write this down. So driveway 5 feet into the property.
Yeah,
right?
you have to look at the
Okay.
driveway apron standard for the county.
Right. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's fine. So since we still have a few minutes, can I actually? But thank you for all this, by the way. It's very clear. But can I actually mention something else? Because when I read number 4 in particular about, you know, the need to, I'm thinking now that maybe what I should do is keep the existing house and then you know, and then set up a kind of like a, let me show you. Can I actually share my screen?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. I gotta be able to do that. Yes. Okay. Now Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So that would be a completely different setup, but you know, and that would actually, you know, keep the house there. This is the existing house, and you see that. But my question is, so I would put the other house up there. You know, my question is in terms of setbacks. Like, okay, so I don't know how to explain that, but the the bottom portion, I mean the wall, you know, the bottom wall of the house, which faces the the street, right? Which is the long, you know, the length of the house. Is this where the front setback requirements has to you know, be met, like the 30 feet front setback? Because, you know, I'm thinking this might not work for me, but if the front setback requirements is calculated from where I put front, which is like the width of the house on the right hand side, then it would work. So I just wanted to get your feel for this. Could that? Yeah, go ahead. Does my question make sense? I mean, did you get me?
The big thing with this, first and foremost, is this is a flag lot configuration. For flag lots, you're gonna need 80 feet from the building lines, the front building line of the proposed home and of the existing home, right? And
I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that, sir. But that's why, you know, because that's why I put like those 26 feet down at the bottom. That's on the street. So my understanding about the flag lot is that if you have a street like a frontage, you know, front at the front street frontage over 25 feet, then it's no longer captured as or qualified as a flag lot. But maybe I'm wrong.
that's gonna be a flag lot.
Yeah, this is
a flag
this is a flag lot. I think where you're showing the 26 feet is primarily to meet the frontage requirement, but to get you have a space requirement or a distance requirement from the existing home to what you're proposing. And I don't know that you're going to meet that. It's kind of hard to tell with this image, but it does kick this out of an administrative review because you need to go to the board to make this happen, mainly because flag lots are not kind of a by right type of approval. And you would definitely have to show how you meet some of the other setback requirements here. It's hard for us to make a determination when some of the dimensions aren't provided on this one.
Right. Well, for sure, I'm aware of the 80 feet flag lot, you know, requirement between the two houses, and for sure I will not be able to meet that requirement. So if you're saying that this is definitely a flag lot, even inside of the 26 foot, which is you know, longer than the 25, if you say this is a flag lot, then this concept doesn't work for sure. So that's what this is a flag lot. Okay. So if it's a flag lot, then forget about it. It's not going to work because I'll never be able to meet the 80 feet requirements. Does that make sense?
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Okay, got it. All right. So let's forget about that. This is just like, you know, an add-on just in case, you know, I had to think through this differently. Do you have any other questions from me? Because I guess what I'd like to know is what the next step is going to be. But if you have questions, I'm here to answer.
I don't have any questions. If you want to talk about next steps, you know, consulting an engineer, a professional licensed engineer, you know, that'll be somebody who's been through the subdivision process here in Montgomery County already. And if you have any questions, you can always just reach out to me. You have my email, should be there, UGO_NNA, period, and JEC.
Are you on an email somewhere? Are you the person who actually sent me these comments? Or,
I believe, yeah, I'm the one who reviewed this.
okay, can you just state your first and last name again, and then I'll find you.
So it's,
Why don't you put it in chat?
Yeah,
I'll put in the chat, so.
he
Yeah.
can put it in the chat for you. How's that?
Sorry?
He can put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you can put in the chat, that would be wonderful. Right.
But I think the next steps are completely up to you. This is a concept plan that is intended to look at any issues, red flags, and help you determine, do you want to submit an application or not?
Right, exactly. Thank you for the clarification. And then if I want to submit an application, then it can be any time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or do I have a
Yes,
time
sir.
limit? It can be
Yes, sir.
any time. It can be in a year from now or something like that, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I mean, I'm just pushing the the timeline a little further than necessary, but just to make sure. Okay, so I think I think I'm done with my. But okay, so are you going to send me, Mr. Jesse, are you or somebody, are you going to send me a like some more documentation, or is it all?
That's it. You can just reach out to me if you have any questions.
Okay, very good. And I reach out to Mr. Jesse, correct? Oh,
Correct.
no, maybe there's some. Okay, all right, let me just do like a print screen on this one. Okay, all right, very good. All right, okay, well, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I think this is a very, very nice process for residents of Montgomery County. It's free of charge. We have all the experts around the table, and I think this is a wonderful process. I don't know how the other countries are doing it, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very
We
much.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
All
right.
Bye-bye.
Neil Bronstein, we're starting item number 4 for DRC, 4719 Hampton Lane. Administrative subdivision plan and forest conservation plan in West County. And this meeting is being recorded for information. Go ahead.
Morning, everyone. I'm Jeff Server. I'm the lead reviewer for this item. The major comments for this are primarily oriented around transportation, location of transformers, and curb cut for the loading area. Outside of that, I'm going to turn it back to the applicant for any questions or comments they'd like to discuss.
Thanks, Jeff. Matt Gordon on behalf of the applicant, which is an affiliate of Washington Property Company. I'm going to pull up my summary. We just have a couple things. I sent an email to Rebecca and Sam. We're going to schedule a meeting on the utility vaults, the Pepco vaults that are proposed to be in Montgomery Lane. We identified this during our concept plan and sort of laid out the importance of it. And Sam had sent back some design criteria. So we're aware of sort of the specifications that need to be met for that to occur, but we'll have a meeting, I think, at some point next week with them to talk about it further. And then one of the other comments that was sort of outstanding for us from the DAP review relates to the landscape treatment at the corner of Hamden Lane and East Lane. So our intent is to, when we resubmit later this month, which will probably be around the time that the expedited CRR plan gets accepted, we're going to address that comment. So we saw the comment and we do intend to provide some details, and happy to work through it with urban design staff as the plans progress. On the green cover, I think Jeffrey, you had a comment about the justification needed for the 35%. So we're going to provide that with the resubmission. We'll provide additional details on that. And then I think there was some confusion on the density. When this project or a portion of this project was approved in, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago as part of the larger site, there's an office building, I think it's called One Bethesda Center. It's immediately to the south. It's across the plaza space where the BF Saul Metro Tower project was recently built. There was density from that property that was transferred to this property owner. It's like 148,000 square feet. And this property is eligible for like another 125,000 square feet. So essentially there's more density than is needed to purchase any density with a park impact payment, but we'll provide the documentation with our resubmission so that gets clarified. And then I also followed up with Jeffrey and Stephanie. I apologize, I didn't provide a copy. We got an alternative unit mix approved by the director of DHCA. So that spells out what's required with the MPDUs, but I passed that along. And then the only other thing that we wanted to do today was to confirm the resubmission schedule for this. And we're trying to align it with the planning board hearing, I think of September 10th, which would include the expedited CRR plan.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. I will email you following this with an updated schedule that reflects those dates.
Okay. That's all we have. I think we're comfortable that we can respond with our next submission and address all these comments and clarify the things that I just went through.
Okay, sounds good, Matt. Are there any other items or anything that needs to be covered?
Not for me, unless Janelle, if she's on, or if VICA or DCI, if they have anything, but otherwise I think we're all set.
No, thanks, Matt. That was the list we discussed, and I don't have anything further to add.
Yeah, I don't think VECA has any other to add as well. So I think we're good.
Yep, all good from Design Collective.
Very good. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
5, and last item for DRC today, Bethesda Crescent, expedited plan in West County. For information, the meeting is being recorded. Saquon, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Saquon Gatlin, lead reviewer for this project. Again, this is the Bethesda Crescent expedited plan, which is a follow-up to the administrative subdivision plan. So we've been talking about this site and project previously. Just continuing on this portion of the review, there were major comments. There were comments that Neil sent out with major comments focusing on the aspect of transportation with aspects of parking and access, our coordination with planning staff, and also comments from DOT and SHA. There were also comments from our environmental staff as well. I will turn it over to the applicant team for any questions.
Thanks, Saquon. Matt Gordon on behalf of the applicant, MRP Realty, and their partner Prime Finance. We reached out to State Highway. We'd like to schedule a meeting on the comments. I understand that they're still reviewing the operations and the queuing analysis that was provided, and that the expedited time frame doesn't really align with their ordinary review process. But we understand the initial comments, so we asked Quasi to set up a meeting on that access point because it is pretty important to the project's viability. So we would like to get a meeting set with planning staff, DOT, and SHA. So I don't know that we need to get into the details on that, but just to let everybody know that's what we're trying to do. Rebecca, is Deepak there? I couldn't tell.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, Deepak. For your DOT letter, you had I guess, kind of laid out like the final letter that you all issued before the planning board. And there was for the Wisconsin and East West, it says, street sections need to be provided. And I know we had some comments on this from administrative subdivision plan, but we tried to update those and provide all the details. So I just want to make sure if there's something we're missing that we get you what you need.
Yeah, I did not see a cross section in the submission.
I'm sorry, Deepak, not to cut you off there. Not in the CRR. They were done as an update to the comments we got for administrative sub, so they are in that application.
Okay, good.
But I'm happy to add them in for this next submission for this plan. When we respond.
Yeah, if you could please, because we were looking at this and I could not find it. So
no problem.
That now I understand. I think we made the resubmission to the administrative subdivision plan a few days after this plan got accepted. So that's where a lot of the updated details got provided.
Correct.
So I think maybe that's where the disconnect was. Okay, well, we can coordinate with you if you still have questions, but we tried to address the initial comments that we received to make sure it was clear and that they were consistent with the design guidelines. And then one of the comments on the utility vaults, I think Saquon about, it says applicant or vault covers that accommodate brick pavers when they're located in the pedestrian through zone. I'll let Ian can talk about this, but I think all those utility vaults are existing today. That we're maintaining. So I know that we obviously have to provide the 5 feet of free and clear around the vaults, which I think we are providing, Ian, but you can correct me wrong. But I guess we're kind of limited in terms of what the utility company will or won't accept. So I think we're happy to pursue that, but they may require, the vented grates, so it's a little bit outside of our control.
This also echoes a comment that was from DOT, just referencing the streetscape standards, also specifically the vaults. So that's from echoing their comment that they made during our internal meeting. So that's not something you guys normally do in terms of streetscape upgrades for existing utility vaults?
I think we're definitely going to update the lids. I think what Matt was referring to was the Pepco vaults in some cases do require venting, and I don't know that we have much in the way of options, but for the materials, for the portion that's not vented, yes.
Okay.
So Ian, is there something in the resubmission that you can show with the details or a note, or I don't know how to address that?
We'll have to work with Richter on that, but absolutely we will we'll clarify the details on those existing vaults and the lids to make sure that they meet as best possible the Bethesda streetscape standard while adhering to what Pepco's requirements are.
Okay. And then Marco, we saw your comment about the green cover. So what we did was for I think the implementation guidelines talk about green covers based on site area. So this alley is a right of way, that's going to be subjected to public access easement. So it's excluded from the definition of site area. So we did not calculate the green cover based on the alley because it's not part of the phase 1 CRR plan. But I think we're going to exceed the 35% requirement as it applies to the site. So we're happy to meet with you. And I know you had some of the other, we tried to address a lot of your comments with the administrative subdivision plan when we revised that. But we're happy to walk through the other comments and provide additional details. But I just wanted to clarify how we calculated the site area and then applied the green cover.
Yeah, so the comment was, to provide more information about the site holistically, because if, say, those, sorry, it's labeled as a private alley rather than public right of way. I guess that in itself would help.
That's the definition of site is proposed and dedicated right of way. So I don't think it really, at the end of the day, we can't develop on it once we plat it, and it's going to have a public access easement. So I'm sure I can find other precedents where open space similarly to green cover were not calculated on private roads. So I don't think it's required, but we'll provide a better graphic that shows you the breakdown.
Matt, can I ask a quick question? You said the alley is under public access easement, or is it?
We're gonna provide one because there's gonna be pedestrian movements coming from the county's parking garage. So we're gonna formally kind of improve and document the existing conditions.
I think public access easement probably would not be right.
Some kind of covenant.
Yeah, it's gonna be a restrictive covenant would be more appropriate in this case, Matt, instead of public access easement.
That public access easement, our attorneys make it so that they say that is basically a public right of way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I just mean that there will be public access, through this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But we will update that green cover plan, Marco, so that it explains it better so that you have what you need. And then Saquon, I guess, what's the administrative subdivision plan was resubmitted. I assume we'll get comments on that soon. What's our sort of next date to resubmit this plan so that we can, get to the planning board on July, I think, 23rd?
Yeah, so we're due for July 23rd planning board date. Your resubmittal will be on June 29th. So keep us abreast of your scheduling the meeting with the SHA so we can get some resolution on those issues and wrap that up before our resubmittal so we can have that as a part of that submittal if possible.
Hey, Saquon, I'm wondering if we want to just suggest the 23rd, since most of us have a hold for work sessions, to have that discussion with the SHA. We'll have to coordinate with Quasi on if that will work, but if that works for the applicant team, sometime on the morning of the 23rd, to have that discussion.
Yeah, that's great. I think he was already trying to look for dates, so he said he would reach out to you all. But we'll wait to hear.
But we haven't heard anything yet, but the 23rd would work for us. We have a meeting hold, so yep.
We can reach out to Quasi then.
Okay. Yeah, and then will we see the comments, any comments to the administrative subdivision plan, I assume, this week?
Yes, those will go out this week as well, so you'll get those back.
Okay, so we would try to basically resubmit everything June 29th so that you all have enough time to get prepared for the hearing in July, I assume, for both applications.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, I think that's all we have unless Nick or Ian or others have questions that I might have missed.
No, I think we hit the big ones, Matt.
All right, so if there's nothing else from reviewing agencies, thank you. We'll be in touch about the meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.